Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about PlayStation 2, Nintendo Switch, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Nintendo and the DMCA to lockpick, and a rumor that got a little bit out of hand. It all started with this series of tweets from Nintendo Yuzu. They say, "I dedicate this entire week until Tears of the Kingdom launches to unapologetically give the finger to each and every pirate I come across on Twitter. Also, if you got DMCA'd last week, it was most likely me, and the 24 emails I sent to Marketly LLC. And they also say, if you got a DMCA over the weekend, congratulations, you're pirate scum." And Simon Aarons tweets out, "Yeah, the strikes were issued by this man-child." So obviously people started talking and the wheels started spinning, and a lot of people came to the conclusion that the DMCA takedowns to lockpick might not be authentic and might not have came from Nintendo. So I tweeted out, did Nintendo Yuzu actually file these DMCAs? Is Nintendo Yuzu legally authorized to act on Nintendo America's behalf? And then I asked them, Nintendo Yuzu, feel free to respond if you like. And fortunately here they did reply. They said it's totally up to Nintendo to file any and all complaints to the DMCA. And no, I did not alert Nintendo to lockpick, although I wish I did, lol. In all honesty here, that reply was good enough for me. I mean, the original series of tweets didn't even mention lockpick, and I just took it as someone running their mouth. And this person says, "Sorry, why are you taking what this clown says at face value?" My reply is simple. There's a huge difference between complaining to Nintendo and issuing a DMCA. Impersonating or emulating Nintendo in this situation would be an extremely serious offense. It's flat out illegal. And based on everything I've seen here, the DMCA does look legitimate, although it hasn't really stopped lockpick from showing up on GitHub. But moving on from that, next up we're still talking about Switch emulation, and this time with Yuzu. And Yuzu just released their progress report, and it's an amazing one. As always, I'll drop a link to the progress report in the description below, and feel free to check it out. It's a great read, and we're just going over it at a high level. Now, the big story behind Yuzu for this month was performance, and quite a bit of it. And we've talked about a lot of it in previous videos, but it's really nice to see everything all in one place here. Apparently, Blinkhawk showed up one weekend and asked, "Want to test a 50% performance boost and almost perfect rendering on normal GPU accuracy?" And that's exactly what the Yuzu team did, and yes, they have a huge performance boost. Now, I think even the Yuzu team was surprised with all of this performance. I mean, they say the results are amazing. Most games that used to need high GPU accuracy to render correctly can now run on normal with no issues. Additionally, all of this wizardry reduces bandwidth usage and boosts performance up to 87% for everyone, 50% on average, from the low-end APUs to the high-end beasts. So here's a list of games they've tested out with either performance improvements or graphical fixes, or even both, and this is an incomplete list. There's a lot of heavy hitters on here: Pokemon Sword and Shield, Link's Awakening, Diablo 2, Luigi's Mansion 3, New Pokemon Snap, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Fire Emblem Warriors, Monster Hunter Rise, Persona 5 Royal, and a whole bunch more, including Breath of the Wild. Unsurprisingly, the frame rates after the improvements for some of these games are absolutely nuts. Take a look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, for example. Before the improvements, it was already running at a whopping 180 frames per second on a 3060 Ti. Afterwards, it's running at a whopping 240 frames per second. Absolutely nuts. On the other hand, if you're struggling to get 60 frames per second in some games and you are using the Vulkan backend, there's an option here that might help you out that they just added. It's Enable Asynchronous Presentation. If you see it, you can click on it. It's in the graphics settings under Advanced, and it might help you out. And on top of that, there's a number of bug fixes, improvements, performance tweaks, and they even found a way to enable Auto HDR if you've got a Windows 11 machine with an NVIDIA GPU. There's an interesting way to get this one to work though, and there are full instructions over on their GitHub, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. So hat tips go out to the Yuzu development team, who had an absolutely amazing month, and it looks like they're still hard at work here and good stuff is going to happen in the future. And speaking about the future, next up we're talking about Tears of the Kingdom, and it looks like people are already lining up to get their copy of the game that isn't even out for another day. That is very interesting to me, considering you can pick it up digitally and not have to wait. Or you can just pick it up from the store. I'm assuming they're still going to have copies of it on the 12th. Moving on, and we're talking about the Steam Deck, and this one's really quick. If you're a fan of Dead by Daylight is now Steam Deck verified, and that's a big win for the Steam Deck. And speaking about the Steam Deck, if you use Emudeck, you might be interested to know that someone has created some scripts to make updating Ryujinx and Yuzu a little bit different. There are a few different versions of Ryujinx and Yuzu. Emudeck picks up the mainline versions of them, but if you wanted to pick up something like the Avalonia build of Ryujinx, there are some scripts to help you out, and I'll drop a link to this in the description below. Moving on, and we're talking about romhacking.net, PlayStation 2, and Monster Hunter 2. And you might be interested to know that Monster Hunter 2 is now completely translated. Someone, or a team rather, has translated Monster Hunter 2 from Japanese to English, and it's a full translation. So they say Breakarts have completely translated the game. All NPC dialogue, quest descriptions, tutorial text, UI texture, item descriptions, including everything in the game's online component, has been completely translated. The patch is fully compatible with online servers and provides an original unchanged Monster Hunter 2 experience. Work on this patch took over 6 months and over 850 hours to complete. If you are curious about this one and you wanted to learn more, I'll drop a link to this page in the description below and feel free to check it out. Hat tip to the people who worked on this. This is absolutely huge. And speaking about huge, last up we're talking about Mortal Kombat 12. And if you didn't already know the game was on its way, well, Mortal Kombat's YouTube page posted a brand new video. It is almost time, and it's a 16-second teaser. You don't see any gameplay, I don't think, it's just a clock, but at the same time I'll drop a link to it in the description below. To say I'm excited about MK12 might be a bit of an understatement. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.